Hey folks, Sharon Restrepo here, President of the Florida Real Estate Investor Association, bringing you this week's edition of The Fan, the FLREIA Action News. And let's see what the headlines are for this week. The big headline, we're moving. That's right, Sharon, myself, and the kids, and even the office, we're moving. So we will be in that transition next week. So we may or may not have a fan. We're looking to go ahead and still publish the fan, but in case the move gets adjusted, we'll just know that we're there. Moving, but we'll be back to next week, but don't think we'll miss it. Anyway, let's see what the headlines are for this week. REOs, where are they now? Buy real estate, get a visa. Sold, the Palm Beach Mall. South Florida home sales increase while prices drop. Take control of your mortgage, and the Miami Dolphins. All right, so let's see what's going on this week. On dsnews.com, REOs, where are they now? In 2006, just as the housing bubble popped, over 355,000 properties proceeded through a foreclosure auction. Now, this is CoreLogic's data shows that approximately 34%, 122,000, were successfully bid on by an investor. The remaining 66%, 233,000, went back to the banks as REO properties. Now, of the properties that went into REO, CoreLogic reports that 90%, 210,000, were liquidated as REO sales to third-party buyers. Nearly half of those sales took 6 months or less to complete, but 21% took 12 months or longer. Nearly 10%, 23,200, of the properties added to the REO inventory in 2006 remained in REO as of mid-2010. Man, that's almost 4 years. According to CoreLogic's analysis, similarly, of 2007's REOs, 10% have never left the bank's books. Ouch. That stinks. Anyway, CoreLogic also says that investors have shifted from buying properties at foreclosure auctions to buying properties at the REO sale. I know that's for a fact. We haven't been buying as much at the auction sales, but we are picking up a ton at the REO sales, which is increasing the burden of losses on banks holding REO properties. Maybe they'll go do short sales like we reported last week. And again, we know some of the banks are here in Florida with their pilot program trying to unload on short sales. But anyway, the company also found that only 2% of the bank-owned homes bought with a mortgage in 2006 have since been foreclosed on again and made an encore appearance as an REO. So obviously it doesn't seem that that's a big issue with them. So moving on. So those are the numbers. All right. Buy real estate, get a visa. That's right. For those of you dealing with foreign investors, this might be a bonus. I'm not crazy about the specifics, but let's see what this bill is all about. They might, let's see, Senator Charles Schumer and Mike Lee are proposing a bill that would offer residence visas to foreigners when they spend at least $500,000 in the U.S. on residential real estate. Okay, this is according to the Wall Street Journal. Now, the investors may split their spending between two or more properties as long as they spend at least $250,000 on one home and $500,000 or more total. This is according to the Journal. The visa granted would be a resident visa and not a work visa, and when the investor sells a property, his or her visa is no longer valid. These investors may apply for work visas through the traditional process. Now, in addition, one of the major stipulations of the deal is that the investor, while not granted a work visa, would have to live in the U.S. home for at least 6 months. Now, I didn't say whether it had to be the one for $250,000, but I think that's where they would prefer. At least 6 months of the year. All right. Now, while these stipulations might be limiting, the hope is that the bill will entice foreign investors to absorb some of the excess inventory currently on the market, especially in the hard-hit areas like Florida and California and Arizona. But we already know they're buying up a lot of properties now. We're dealing with them. They're the majority of our buyers. Between March 2010 and March 2011, foreign buyers purchased $41 billion in U.S. real estate. This is according to the National Association of Realtors. During that same period, 58% of all international transactions took place in Arizona, California, Florida, and Texas, with 43% in Florida and California, obviously the hardest hit areas. Capital Economics predicted in this report that foreign investing in the U.S. housing market will increase over the next several years, with Senator Schumer and Lee hope to enhance this trend with their little bill. So, if you're dealing with a foreign investor, might not be a bad thing to mention to them. Hey, listen, if you want a visa, you got to buy a house for $250,000. All right, but it's got to be a total of $500,000 that you can own before you get the visa. Anyway. Sold. This is from the Daily Business Review. That's right, the Palm Beach Mall. You know that little eyesore we've got off of Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard? That's right, a partnership of New England Development and Eastern Real Estate and Lubert Adler are the buyers, according to public records. They just purchased it on Friday, and little $25 million got it for them. The deal does not include the anchor buildings. Some of these anchor buildings are owned by a couple other guys, and I'm sure they might want a pretty penny for it. The partners are in talks with several of the parties about acquiring the buildings, and well, let's tell you the specifics. In May 2010, Wells Fargo took title to it. They foreclosed on it. They were trying to recover $53 million against Palm Beach Mall LLC in 2009. Obviously, it did not happen, and so now they got the property back and sold it for a steal. $25 million, I think. I don't know. That's a pretty lonely mall. If you've been in there, not pretty. All right, speaking of sold, South Florida home sales are increasing, but prices are still dropping. That's right. September single-family home sales rose as foreclosure and weak demand continue to tamp down prices. Miami-Dade saw an increase of 46% year over year, but the median price decreased 6% to $176,000. Broward increased 11%, but the median price dropped 7% to $188,000. Now here's a number I wasn't expecting to see. Palm Beach County jumped 34%, but the median price decreased 20% to $180,300. Condo sales. Miami-Dade rose 58%. Huge pop up there. Broward rose 6%, and Palm Beach rose 33%. The median prices on these condos in Miami-Dade, they rose 17%. In Broward, they rose by 3%, but in Palm Beach, we saw a drop of 11%. Nationally, existing home sales dropped 3% in September to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.91 million homes. Now, this is a drop from our normal, what economists call a normal healthy economy of 6 million. So, looks like we're a million away from a healthy thing, and we still got a lot of inventory. First-time buyers accounted for 32% of all sales. So, for those of you investors that are dealing in first-time home buyers, good news there. Homes at risk of foreclosure edged down to 31% of sales from 31% in August. Many of these sales went to investors who are buying homes under $100,000. So their purchases have made up about 19% of all sales last month. Way to go there, investors. Which is down slightly from 22%, which is kind of weird, but that's what they're saying is happening here in South Florida. Okay. Most economists say that home prices will keep falling by at least 5% through the rest of the year. Many forecasters don't anticipate a rebound in prices until at least 2013. And again, that all depends on how all this litigation goes with these banks. Even homes that are under contract and near closing are falling apart at the last minute. This is according to the realtors. They're saying about 18% of realtors have had at least one contract scuttled, which is unchanged from August, which again is a record high. So financing must be an issue out there. So if these guys can find lenders that are doing it, they'll get there. But some of these lenders are just doing so much that it's killing everything. So making it difficult. All right, from Inman.com, taking control of your mortgage. Interesting article here. Folks are having trouble. 30-year mortgages. Can I get a refi? Do I want to get into a 30-year mortgage? Can't afford to do 15. What are the things I can do? Well, refis are still possible, according to this article. Banks are increasingly amenable to simplify to simply modify existing mortgages to render them less prone to default and foreclosure, especially when the homeowner is trying to recover from a financial hardship, like interrupted income due to a job loss or illness, and especially with upside-down loans, which are particularly liable to strategic defaults without a modification. Many banks are offering refis on mortgages as much as 25% underwater. Ouch. So long as no payments have ever been missed. Now, this is through the Obama administration's HAMP program, the Home Affordable Refinance Program, and the less widely adopted Federal Housing Administration's Short Refinance Program. If you go to the government site, you'll find all the specifics on this to help you out. Now, trying to get a loan, avoid the big banks, okay? These guys are very tough and not very well organized. Work with the neighborhood credit union. Work with a mortgage broker or a private mortgage banker through a referral, especially from somebody that you know that has recently attained a loan or refinanced their old loan. Work with a mortgage broker whose company also has its own bank. These guys will shop for the best loan available to you and can coordinate your transaction via a small pool of local experienced appraisers. The large banks, they're just looking for the cheapest guys out there, and unfortunately some of these cheapest guys aren't here locally. And so they're outside of the area, and then they're trying to come up with comps and give an appraisal. They kill the deal. So one reason to avoid the big banks. And again, don't worry, don't think about you're going to be stuck for 30 years. This is a big complaint from people. It's like, I don't want to be into a 30-year debt. These are some easy ways, easy tips to get out of a 30-year loan. Bi-weekly payments adds up to an extra payment a year. Sharon and I have been doing that on our home for the past 8 years. Instead of 12 monthly payments, we cut the mortgage payment in half and send a payment every 2 weeks. That adds up to 13 payments a year, and that makes a big difference. You're not paying for 30 years. It drops it down, I think, to about anywhere from 25 to 27 years. So it's a lot of cash that stays in our pocket. Some folks will send an extra $100 if they get a bonus or a raise. They'll use those funds to add to the principal. If you close a nice deal, hey, send that chunk into your home payment. Get rid of that. People want to get out of debt. They don't want to stay in it. So these are just small incremental steps that you can take to pay off over time. All right. The Miami Dolphins, whoa, 0-6. Did you see that game? I mean, it was a nail-biter. It was an exciting game, but we didn't pull it off again. What is going on with our guys? I mean, they had the lead. I think they started coasting. Sparano says, no, you know what? When you got a guy, a young kid, Tebow, and God love him, I love him. I love for what he stands for. I rooted for him when he was with Florida, even though I'm not a Florida fan. But he did a great job. He rallied his team and brought him back to life, so that was amazing. So now we're 0-6. I'm always going to be a Dolphin fan. I stick with my team. I'm loyal, so I'm not going to let them. I'm not going to worry about it. And it's not life or death. So next week we're at the Giants. They're 4-2, so another tough game. Let's see if we can pull it around and pull off a miracle here. All right, so that's the news. Let's see what's going on at the Florida area. We got our real estate opportunities webinar every Tuesday with Sharon. We've got a bunch of deals that just came online, so be sure to catch that webinar at 12:45 and on Tuesdays. And then our Elite conference call is on the 1st, November 1st. That's Tuesday morning, and then we close our house. And then our business meeting, our monthly business meeting, we've moved it up a week, so it's not the third Thursday, it's the second Thursday this month, and it's with Sharon, and she's teaching on retiring rich with rentals. The best opportunities right now to buy rentals is this market, so you want to come and find out how to do it correctly. All right, and then our Elite Power Trip is on November 11th and 12th. That's the day after our meeting. We're taking off, going to go blow some steam and go do some zip lining and then have a nice meal and just have a great time. So if for those of us that are going, we're looking forward to going up there with you guys, and we'll be posting some shots on Facebook. All right, and then our God's Property is still on the third Thursday. That will be at 7:30 a.m. on the 17th. And then on the 19th, I will be your host and instructor for the Mastering 2012 and Beyond workshop. This is a workshop you don't want to miss if you're wanting to change your life and trying to improve how you do business. You definitely don't want to miss this workshop. All right, that's the news. That is the news for this week. We thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you at any one of our upcoming events. Don't forget to follow us on our social media at Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.com, all /FLREIA. All right, this is Sharon Restrepo signing off. God bless.
The kingdom of God is within me. I carry it wherever I go. Got me some joy.